Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty of stuff to work on today. I'm practicing limb independence. In all of these practice streams, there are timestamps in the description to show what I was practicing or what I was talking about. Think of this like office hours. I'm here to get better, and if you have some questions about how to get better as a performer or how to get better as an educator, feel free to ask them. Because people have asked many questions, I've got just under 16 hours of responses to prior questions in this drumming tips playlist. There's over 100 videos in here talking about performing and teaching. And the teaching side of things, I've taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral students, so I have a range of not only performing experience, but also teaching experience. Now, today, I'm working on limb independence. In these streams over the last year or so, I've gone through this book. It's called 50 Ways to Syncopation by Don Moyle. I highly recommend the book. It's very good. And then the way that I was going about this was largely based off of Gary Chester's idea of limb interdependence that he talks about in New Breed 1 and New Breed 2. But today I'm working on two patterns that I came up with that are 3/4 patterns where you're playing a straight pattern with one half of your body and a swung pattern with the other half of your body. It is very difficult, but I'm having fun trying to learn it. Now, I am not good at limb independence yet, so I need to get motivated with Shia LaBeouf here. Good freeze frame. And Shia here is going to help me to get better at limb independence. Thank you, Captain Thunder Frog, for subbing on YouTube. If you're here for the drumming stuff, check out the home tab. All right, here we go. Let's hide him because of copyright. Shia LaBeouf, get me motivated. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, wow, Shia LaBeouf. Everybody is super motivated now. Woo! One more flex for good luck. All right. Now, the way I'm practicing limb independent stuff is I'm using this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is keeping track of how I'm doing going through Dom's book, 50 Ways to Syncopation. So, for example, your standard ding, 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 where you play eighth notes on the snare drum, short notes, and anything longer than on the bass drum. If I scroll to the right, you can see the starting BPM, the quality of playing, how I felt while going through this, etc. And then column A, all the way on the left-hand side, keeps track of, on average, how did I do across all of those different variations. Now, over the last year or so, I've been going through all of these, and I'm sitting with the ones that don't sound good, so that are just kind of meh, where they're just kind of like, eh, and then the ones that need a lot of work. And I do not move on from those in these practice streams until I get them, on average, to be at least technically proficient, which means I can play the ink on the page, feels comfortable playing through it, or musical, where I'm adding in extra timbres, textures to make it sound even better than just playing the ink on the page. So I've gone through every single one of these, and I've got two more that I'm going through right now that I made up. So these are not in Dom's book, but here's the one that I'm going to warm up with. So this is a straight over swung pattern that's 3/4. It's weird. So we have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay, so that ride pattern, if we take this, instead of playing as 16th notes and play it as triplets, instead of this, that's what I'm going to be playing here with hi-hat on 2 and 4. So while I read through eighth notes on the snare drum, and anything longer than an eighth note is on the bass drum. And we're going to do this at 125. Now, last time I did this, it was actually technically proficient, but I wanted to spend more time with it, so I just said needs a lot of work, so that way it didn't switch this over. So I want more time to practice it. Now, what am I practicing? Well, on my home tab of YouTube, there are thousands, plural, of free exercises that you can use to practice. But if you go to the first link that's at the top of every one of the free play-alongs, it takes you to jaredoleary.com/drum. So this is my website. And right now there are currently 80 chop exercises in here. So like the other day I was working in the shopping spree playlist. It has 29 shopping sprees in it at the moment. There's over 1,000 grid variations in here. So if you work on rudimental drumming, I highly recommend working on rudiment on 1, like flam on 1, diddle on 1 for like triplets and 16th note. There's a lot in here, over 1,000 of them. This is where I'm practicing today. I'll come back to that in a moment. There's just under 500 marching bass drum exercises inside of here. There are some drumline cadences in score format. There's over 200 sight reading exercises. In fact, I was working on some more yesterday. There's over 400 technique exercises in here. Just pick a playlist that looks interesting. Like if you want to work on your flams, go there. If you want to work on your timing, go to any of these timing playlists, etc. And then finally down here, there's over 16 hours of free drumming tips. These are the scripted lessons where I talk about like how to hold traditional grip or the stretch and massage routine that I'm going to demonstrate here in about 5 minutes. And then this one has I think it's like 17 seconds shy of 16 hours of free drumming tips. So a lot of content in here, over 100 videos, okay? And then there's some fun stuff reacting to AI drumming, etc. if you're interested in that. Now, today I'm working on limb independent stuff. Inside of here are some permutations so you can practice limb independence. There's also 55 straight charts, and in the exact same charts over here in swung play-alongs. And so every one of these playlists has the second video, which is how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. So if you watch this, this will show you how I'm working on limb independence and practicing it. Now, I'm going to pick a set of charts and just kind of play along through it. Sure, 30, 60, 40. Sounds great. And we're going to go to here. I want to play this at 125. So in all these thousands of play-alongs, you can pick a BPM and then practice along to it. So again, I'm playing the ding-ging-ging-ging-ging on the ride. Hi-hat on 2 and 4. 1, 2, ready, and. So this is a straight pattern. I'm playing swung ace on the snare. Anything else on the bass. 1, 2, here we go. Cool. My mouse just slid down. Stay up there, please. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. No. Oh no. The ride messed up. I mean, I messed up the ride. You know what I mean. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. A lot of reading issues this morning. I think I need to drink more coffee. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... I don't know why my brain went to this, but I saw a streamer who was farming likes while playing a video game, and my brain for whatever reason was just thinking about that. 1, 2, ready, and... Weird one, right? It's fun though. Okay, so because I had more breaks in there with the ride pattern, and then had some reading errors because I was thinking about not drumming while drumming. I'm gonna say it needs a lot of work. That way, I have to sit with it some more. So I got to keep working on this one. So overall, though, it's making huge progress on it. It's just I want to keep sitting with this one because it doesn't feel comfortable yet. We'll get there in time. A month ago, I could not play that, so progress. All right, first stretch I'm going to do after that quick warm-up is palms are facing up, holding the sticks. You pull in, you push through. Oh, yeah. It feels good. So what I was thinking about with that, streamer, it was, farming likes. So, they're playing a video game, and they're, yelling at their chat, literally, why aren't you giving me enough likes? I'm not going to do this thing until you give me enough likes. It's just, I imagine that the first time they did that, they, felt connected with their chat and whatnot. They're oh, I'll do this thing if you give me enough likes. Stretching the underside of the forum. And, they probably had fun with it, but, because, streaming, what is it, 1 in 15,000 or something make minimum wage doing it? It's not an easy gig, and so I imagine they feel the pressure to pay their bills by doing that stuff. But then the people who watch are probably just okay, dude, you do this 10 times an hour. Can we stop this? And so they we're getting mad at the chat, but then the chat was getting mad at them. It's just chasing that engagement, chasing that by farming. That does not sound like fun. I'm stretching the upper side, the top side of the forum. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the legs. It goes twice as fast. So on all these streams on YouTube, I have the ads turned off completely. And the reason for that is because I want you to just be able to enjoy it. So if you want to ask a question, I don't want an ad to randomly interrupt that. And then I just turn on the AdSense right when I'm shutting down the stream. So that way it just puts it on the VOD basically. And I figure that's a way to just make it so that people who want to ask questions can do that without the interruptions. And then when YouTube automatically adds it, they'll often put it in between these moments when I'm chatting rather than when I'm drumming, which is nice. Although I say that, but the play-alongs, I have to manually put the ad spots in because YouTube will put it in the middle of a count off or in the middle of an exercise. And it's funny, there'll be videos where I put in a total of 5 ads, but YouTube wants to put in 30 of them. and they'll like do it in the middle of a roll exercise. It's like, you know, I don't think anyone would be too thrilled to be practicing and then all of a sudden it interrupts there. You're watching? Oh, no worries. You don't need a comment. I do appreciate it, though, Angelo. Welcome back. If nobody comments at all, I'm still here practicing. I'm getting better. If people are asking a bunch of questions, that's cool, too. These are office hours. If you got questions, I'm happy to point towards some potential answers or resources. But if you're just chilling, that's cool, too. So that was the last stretch that I did, was the fingers. Now I'm going to massage. I'm doing thumb on top, fingers underneath. But yeah, all that to say, that made me screw up one of the rhythms on the second to last chart, the very first measure, the very last line. I was thinking about that, like farming, the engagement farming. And I messed up. Whoopsies. I refuse to play that game. I know I could do better, but I just, in terms of like getting more subs, getting more views, but I don't want to do that. It's just feels like I'd be chasing an algorithm. That does not sound like fun. I just want to create resources and enough of them that people go, wow, this library of content is helpful. I want to share it with somebody else. All right, so next one I'm going to do is massage the back side of the hand with the fingers, and the thumbs massaging the palm. Deep up, butt up. Let me see here. I had a feeling. Do. Tonight's gonna be a good time. Okay, so I'm gonna get a copyright violation for that. There we go. Vertical format was not public. Now it is. All right, so the last massage that I'm going to do is I'm going to massage from base to tip of each one of the fingers, and then we'll get back into even harder 3/4 straight over swung pattern. I will show you in a moment. Couple of knuckle cracks. Enjoy. Free of charge. You don't even have to be a paid member for that. ASMR tier. So this finger is a little tighter than the other, so instead of just doing it like 2 times, I'm doing it longer. Spend more time with it. Same thing with this one. Probably from all that Silk song. Fingers are tight, holding on to the controller because the buttons don't always work, which is not frustrating at all. Wink. All right, so the pattern that I'm playing is not the one that's on the screen. It's the one that's on the screen right now. So this one is a Soca pattern with a hi-hat. So you're like, typical Soca is just going to be like. Okay, so 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1 EN. So you'd have a shup on the release on the AND. And you'd play. Etc. Okay, so you might play something like that, but instead of playing as da 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 buckets, instead of playing as 16th notes, and play as triplets. Buckets. Okay, so it's 3 hi-hat patterns in the space of 4 notes. So it's 3/4 as triplets. While playing, and it's a straight pattern, while playing da-da-da-da-da-da-da, swung 8th notes on the snare drum, and anything longer than that on the bass drum, okay? And we're going to do it at a 100, so we're going to slow this down a little bit. And I'm going to go back to my home tab of YouTube, so you can see this one, beep. And we'll scroll down a little bit. So we've got chop exercises, grid variations, limb independence, marching bass, scores, sight reading, technique, and tips and lessons. Any of those videos that say members first are scheduled to release for free, but there's over 600 of them, so it might be literally like 2 years from now when it comes out, so stay tuned. Lots more content to come. But if you click on any of these headers, it expands this. So I'm going to go into the swung charts and the last couple of times I streamed, I did charts 1 through 40, I think. So I'm going to do the last 10 in here. But we're doing swung. I'm not going to do the advanced one because I don't know this pattern well enough to do those. So stay tuned. We'll eventually get to those. And in the timestamps of all these thousands of play-alongs, you can jump to a BPM that you want. I want to play this at 100. And this pattern is very difficult. I do not know it as well as I'd like yet. So this is actually me practicing stuff that I'm not good at, which is what I recommend for you too. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I dropped my stick. We're doing great. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Couple of rhythm issues, reading them wrong, and then the hi-hat got wonky at one point. So again, it's 3/4, so you're doing 3 of the shup patterns in the space of 4 beats. Swung on the snare and bass, everything else straight. Just melts my brain. Okay, a brief respite for weary travelers. This one's so hard, you need a permission slip from your parents to be able to play it. 1, 2, ready, and... Alright, huge progress in the last couple of streams in particular. The fact that I'm able to get to some charts now after 4 weeks of grinding on this, it feels good. It's still uncomfortable. Oh no, this is a hard one. Oh, good luck. No! Dang it. Oh, that one's hard. If I remember correctly, that entire thing is written in 5/8. So all of the parts just like bleed over the bar, and when I'm already doing 3/4 and playing 5/8 rhythms with straight over swung, oh no! Oh, that was rough. Okay, so dropped my sticks like what, twice? Read some rhythms wrong multiple times. Messed up the hi-hat pattern multiple times. This is why we're practicing, folks. All right, so we're going to the next set of charts. That was 41 through 45. This is now 46 through 50. And again, I'm doing it at 100. And it's counting me off. 1, 2, here we go. 3/4 Soca. Straight triplets. Read swung 1/8 notes on the snare drum. And everything else on the bass drum. 1, 2, here we go. Okay. Chart 47. It's appropriate. I'm Agent 47. Hajimemashite. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. My stick is hitting the other stick. I'm trying to do a cross stick over stick at the fulcrum, rather than like a wrist over wrist like this. But because I need to play the snare a little bit louder than I'd like, because it's on a not too great strum trigger, I screw up. So I had the right foot on the bass drum affect the left shup, but then I also screwed up the ride pattern, or the hi-hat pattern. Whoopsies. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... Dang it. My brain is not processing this as well as I'd like today. It's one of those days. Rushed a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Oof. Okay, so we've officially, in the last 3 drum kit streams, gone through the first 50 charts that are on here. And so now what I'm going to do is go back to charts 1 through 5 and resume doing this again because I don't have these memorized. So now that I've gone through 50 of them, if I go back to the beginning, it'll be like sight reading it again. This pattern is kicking my booty today. It's so difficult. It just messes with my brain. Because of the 3/4, like, even just quarter notes don't line up with the phrasing on the hi-hat. Such a fun challenge, though. Okay, I'll show you a shortcut. So if you actually are on a keyboard and mouse, if you press, like, a keyboard, and you say, like, press the number 4, then it goes to 40% on the video. If you press number 8, it goes to 80% on the video. So any of the numbers on here, it'll just go to that percent. So if you press 0, it just goes to the very beginning. Pro tip. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. But, you know, if you want to get to the actual timestamps, just go into the description of every one of the thousands of free videos. And then you can play at whatever speed you want. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. is distracting. It's covering it up. There we go. That should do it. I gotta remember to flip my mouse over. It like covers up the very bottom line of that. Oh, 1, 2, here we go. Okay, better. I mean, remembering what it was a couple streams ago on the drum kit, huge progress. Big Lee improvement, yay! But still, needs a lot of work. 1, 2, here we go. Okay. Trying to figure out, like, what I was screwing up with that mentally. It just felt really awkward. Maybe, you know, the fact that this is really difficult. Also, the snare wasn't, like, triggering. Dang it. Whew. Okay. I think I'll do 5 more charts after this. And then I'll just, like, review one that I already know how to play. 1, 2, it's like the 4th time I've dropped my stick today. Ugh. Totally whiffed that ending. My brain. It's like, stop it, please. Too much. I will get this. Probably in about a week. And then it'll actually start to feel comfortable. We'll get there. I believe in myself. I've done this with enough of these patterns. I mean, if we look back here, like, all these patterns above, we've already graduated from. This one, it just happens to be, like, the final boss of all the patterns. Okay, let's go to the next set of charts, so 6 through 10. So again, if you're tuning in right now, so what I'm doing is a Soca hi-hat pattern. So normally you'd play this as 16th notes. So you play 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. But instead I'm going triplet, 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 buckets, buckets, buckets. So 3/4. The hi-hat is a straight pattern. Playing through just straight triplets. While I'm reading through these charts, and we're doing swung on the snare drum, and anything longer on the bass drum. Swung 8th notes on the snare drum. I can't even tell you what I'm working on. My brain can't compute. 1, 2, here we go. Oops. Forgot to show you the music. One, two, 1, 2, here we go. This is so distracting. Stop it. The mouse keeps flipping. It's already like, there's like enough stuff on the screen that like grabs my attention, whether it's like the different chats or like the monitors or whatever, the video monitors. But when it's like moving the YouTube video around, it's like, stop it. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. All these play-alongs that I'm using, if you click the panel that's right underneath this stream where it says drumming, it takes you to jaredoleary.com/drum, and there's over 2,000 free exercises that you can use to practice like I am. Oops. What's the best way to practice limb independence with polyrhythms? So if you use the limb independence section on my YouTube, check out the rhythm transitions. There's some stuff on there for that. I'll show you in a minute. So quantum, I'll show you right after this chart. You're no drummer? Well, that's alright. I can explain stuff at the elementary level if we need to. I love you. Talking to my wife. Just to clarify. Oof. Okay, so to give you a rundown of what I was doing, if you're on the vertical, it's this. If you're on the horizontal, it's this. So I was playing a Soca pattern, which is as 16th notes. 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4 yen, 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4 yen, okay? But instead of playing it as 16th notes, I was playing as triplet. Triplet, triplet, triplet. So that's a straight pattern. And I was playing swung on the snare drum and the bass drum. So I was basically playing a 3/4 straight over swung pattern, which is very difficult. I do not recommend starting there. Now to answer your question, Quantum. So when practicing polyrhythm stuff, there's the section on my home tab of YouTube that has some things that you can do as polyrhythms. So let me show you that. So if we click to go to my home tab here, boop, and I scroll down a bit, there's all the chop stuff here. This is what I was practicing the other day, some shopping sprees, there's grid stuff, but the limb independence section, when you click on here, there's a bunch of timing exercises in here. You could play anything you want, and then play like a different type of rhythm on here if you wanted to. So for example, you could play like a 16th note pattern while going through these timing stuff on one limb, but if you wanted to, like, get wacky with it. But the timing transitions one, this has some polyrhythm stuff in here that you can play as well. So for example, rebound cannon, if you play one limb on the top line, another limb on the bottom line, then you'll get something like 1, 2, 3, 4. And going through this, like the ride cymbal on the right hand right here, and then the left hand right here, but you actually like repeat this twice. So with the repeats, you play each measure twice. But this was an exercise that I played with the drummers that I worked on. We used this in our warm-up. But we'd play one hand on the top line, the other hand on the bottom line. And so this is a way that you can work on your polyrhythms. But that exercise you can also do with any one of these. So you can work on any one of these, like transitioning from, I don't know, triplets into 5/4, or septuplets into 3/2. Like, there's a ton of variations in here. But what you'd basically do is just like play a rhythm pattern where you do like and then you just keep this going. And then you play like any of these rhythms on the bass drum, like quarter notes, and then go into like the quarter note triplets, whatever you want to do when going through it. But you can play any of these timing transition exercises to work on polyrhythms. But I just want to make it also clear, in case it's not, polyrhythms are like a fancy thing that you might do less than 1% of your time in most music that you will play. So if you're like a beginner or intermediate drummer, I wouldn't really worry about playing a bunch of polyrhythms. That's something that like a lot of beginner drummers look at and go, ooh, I want to be able to play 4/3. Yeah, I'm going to spend all my time practicing that. But really what you should just like practice your time doing is just... It's just like a fundamental groove like that. So just like if you want to work on it, here's how you can do it. But also let that be like maybe 10% of your time working on that. You remember me from the Alien stream? Nice. Welcome back. Yas, we're working on drumming now. Today in about 30 minutes, I'll be doing Silk Song. We're towards the end of Act 2. I think there's like 4 more bosses to go through, something like that. Maybe 5. Stay tuned. Okay, anyways, so I just worked on a pattern that I'm not good at yet. That 3/4 swung and straight pattern simultaneous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to patterns that I have graduated from. And so I'm going to play... I haven't played this one in a while, actually. I'm going to play a Baião pattern. We'll see if I can even remember it. It's been like a couple months since I've done it. Okay, so the Baião pattern is not that. That's what I was just playing. Let me paste it. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Okay, so the Baião pattern, boop, is this. So we have right, left, both, right, left, both, right, left, both, right, left, both, right, left, both. Okay, so that's the pattern that you're playing with your feet and your ride cymbal, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a... If you want, you can put a bell on the 8th note, or I guess technically the quarter note. And then I'm going to read through the patterns on the snare drum. And the last time I played through this, I played it at 7,000 beats a minute. Just kidding, I played it at 200. Whew, that's brisk. Okay, let's try it. So we scroll down here. Go to the limb independence. Now this is all a straight pattern. This is not a straight over swung like I was just doing. So I'm going to go into the straight drum charts and 160 to 240. And I just played that. So let's just go ahead and do 11 through 15, I guess. And in the timestamps of all these thousands of free play alongs, you can pick whatever BPM you want. I want to do this at 200. And it's going to count me off. And then I start hitting the drum. 1, 2, ready, and... One, 2, here we go. This feels weird playing this as actual 8th notes instead of triplets. Oops. I'm adding in extra rim shots, extra accents, some buzzes, crushes, just to make it more interesting. 1, 2, ready, and... there a certain angle your kick drum should be positioned at? 2, ready, and... I mean, for me, I want to have my kit nice and close to me. I'll show you after this chart. Okay, so for me, the way I like to have my kit set up is everything is compact. Now, the reason for this is, one, I'm a rudimental drummer, so efficiency is key for being able to play fast. And so the way that you have like your tenor set up, you want to have everything nice and compact, as opposed to like having one drum way over here and one drum way over here. So same thing for the drum kit. So for me, I like to have everything nice and compact. However, I do know some people who will have like their legs like super spread out, like super wide like this. So when they're playing, they have everything like that. I personally don't like that. I like to have everything close. So when I'm playing, it's the smallest amount of motion to be able to get to each one of the cymbals and each one of the drums when playing through this. So that way I don't have to waste my time going from one drum to the next. But I have had students who would be like, no, I want to make it look showy so that way I can move the drums and the cymbals far away, so that way, like they were a metal drummer, they wanted to make it more theatrical, etc. But for me, when I'm playing this, I want to have my foot in alignment with my leg. So whatever angle you have your leg at is where you want to have your bass drum lined up with the pedal. So if you have a wide stance, like with your legs, if you're doing this, then you want to just like move the pedal so that way it goes straight into the head like this, and you just move it to whatever angle you need to where it's lined up with your leg right here, okay? So for me, it's just lined up this way. Same thing with the hi-hat, and for the double bass, the extra pedal right here, is I want it lined up. You don't want to have it so that like your legs are going this way and then your feet are like out or like in like this, okay? This is no good. We want to have everything lined up. Same thing with like the stick. The stick is an extension of your forearm with your hand. So when you're playing, you don't want to play like this. You don't want to go da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or like outward like this, da-da-da-da, unless you're doing like the Julie Spencer technique, etc. You want to have it be an extension. So same thing with the pedal. The pedal's an extension of my leg with my foot. Does that make sense? Looks like Maury might be the name. So I don't do covers on here. So these are basically like office hours where I'm here to practice and to get better, speaking of. I did this at 200, and it was mostly technically proficient. No, not 2000. But if people have questions about like how to get better as a performer or as an educator, because I've played since 1998, and I've taught every grade kindergarten through doctoral students, because I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education. People ask me questions about like how to get better as a performer, how to get better as an educator. And so I've got literally thousands of free exercises and whatnot to help you with that. So we've got chop exercises. There's over 1,000 grid variations. This is where I was practicing, was the limb independent stuff. Every single one of these links to the second video, which is how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. If you're interested in that, you can check that out. But there's also below the limb independent stuff, marching bass drum stuff. There's some drumline cadences. There's sight reading exercises. There's technique exercises. And then there's over 16 hours of drumming tips and lessons. So like there's some scripted lessons in here. There's over 400 live streams with timestamps in the description. And then inside of here is when I've answered questions in the chats, like the question about like the pedal and whatnot. I edit those down and I put them into this playlist that has over 100 videos where I'm answering some different questions and whatnot. But because there's so many resources, it's a little bit hard to have it organized on YouTube. So the first link that's at the top of every one of these thousands of play-alongs takes you to here where we've got all the things organized. So there's the chop exercises. There's over 1,000 grid variations. There's the limb independent stuff, marching bass scores, sight reading, technique, and then all the lessons and whatnot. Now, there are over 600 videos that are currently listed as members first. Those are all scheduled to release for free. But if you want that early access, it's just 99 cents. So, for example, like the sight reading stuff, this is scheduled to release a year from now because I've got so many like exercises that are scheduled to release. So if you go to join, then it shows you right here, it's 99 cents to get access to the over 600 videos if you're interested in that. But again, they're all coming out for free. So if you can just be patient, it'll come out. You don't have to pay for it. I give drum tips, not piano. Yeah, I've played piano, but not very well. I used to be a band director. That was one of the many jobs that I've had. So I've taught every band instrument, and I had to learn every band and orchestra instrument for my undergrad. But yeah, I don't play piano. My wife does. You used to play the drums? Well, hey, you know, if you get back into it, there's literally thousands of exercises that can help you out with that. If you're newer to drums, I recommend taking a look at the drumming lessons. Those are more basic, like how to hold like traditional grip. Like, should you hold it like this? Should you hold it like this? Like, which way do you do it? Do you do it like this? Do you do it like that? So I talk about like the nuances in the drumming lessons. But the drumming tips one, some of these are more advanced. So like there's like questions about like mindset. Like the one that came out this morning is like, how do you know you will succeed as a drummer? So it's talking about like long term, what do you compare yourself with, etc. But there's also more advanced stuff, like somebody was asking questions about whether or not it's worth it to get a doctorate. So I made a almost 15-minute video that just kind of unpacks the pros and cons of getting a doctorate in music. Since I have a PhD in music education, just kind of sharing from those perspectives. So, you know, more advanced stuff than like how to hold a stick, but they're all free. If you enjoy these resources, all I ask is that you just share it with somebody else. And if you don't enjoy these resources, I just ask that you share it with an enemy. Then I get a win out of it by people seeing the free resources, and you get a win out of it by torturing your enemies. You do you. You work at Starbucks every Tuesday? Nice. Let's see, the last like job that I worked at that was kind of like that was at Blockbuster when that was a thing. I was a manager at a Blockbuster store. And then I worked in a stain shop where I made finished closet doors, like the staining and the lacquering and stuff. And those closet doors cost more than a house. Literally hundreds of thousands of dollars for closet doors. And I made $10 an hour. It was great. And then I worked at a real estate place. And then I became a teacher, and then I did professor stuff on the side, and then I was a teacher again for computer science rather than for music, and then I worked at a nonprofit. I was a director of education and research there. I've done a lot of weird stuff. If you actually go to, so like on the website here, if you go to /CV, it takes you to the curriculum vitae up there. And then you can see that if anyone's curious about it. And it's got all of the 100+ presentations I've done, the dozens of publications, and all the other stuff on there for free, if anyone's interested in any of that nerdy stuff. Speaking of, since I'll promote it. So under the publications, if you scroll down to the a corpus-assisted discourse analysis of music-related practices discussed within chipmusic.org, that's my dissertation. And it's super nerdy. So if anyone wants to look at the intersections of computer science and music making, as discussed in like, I think it was 11 million words of data, there's a lot of really cool findings in here. And there's like in the appendix at the end, there's a lot of cool stuff that people did with like performing with Game Boys and like the modifications that they did, hardware mods that they did to like adjust the audio and stuff. It was a super nerdy dissertation, but there's a lot of really interesting findings in it. So, highly recommend taking a look at it if anyone's interested. Like all these pro sound mods that people did to add in different audio jacks and stuff. It's cool. Here's a little gift. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. You're also nerdy? Well, me too. It's nice also being married to a nerdy person. It makes life a whole lot easier. Sounds interesting. You don't think you're ready to buy a drum set? Well, I mean, you can also practice just on sticks and pad. And you can also practice with just your hands. So the one ways that I'll often practice is I'll just like move the wrist. So you can do that while working on it. But you can literally play any of these exercises without a stick and pad. The cool thing is with all these like free exercises is like even if you go to a hard one, like let's say the shopping sprees, like if you go to, I don't know, Blue Devils 2004, sure. So this one was also called Sprizzle. So this one is a difficult exercise that you could play fast, but because these play-alongs all go slow, like this one goes all the way down to 40 beats a minute. And so if you're playing through this at a slower speed, slower tempo, then you can really refine stuff, and you can do this with just your wrists while playing through it. So if you want to get better at drumming, you can practice complicated stuff slow, and so you can slowly learn those things, and then just go up one click at a time with it. So like when I do the technique streams, you'll see me usually just go up one click at a time. So it starts at 40, and then it goes to 41, and then 42, etc. Another way that you can practice this stuff, if you go into the home tab again, all the way down in the technique section, there's something called slow, fast, slow, and then another version that's called fast, slow, fast. So these tools allows you to pick a subdivision. So you can be like, I want eighth notes, or I want triplets, or 16th notes, or whatever. And so like, let's say we're doing triplets. You can say, I want to practice something starting at 40 beats a minute, and then I want to go all the way up to, I don't know, 100, and then go all the way back down to 40. So what this exercise does is it counts you off, and it starts playing the subdivision at 40, and I'm skipping through this. It goes one click faster every single measure. Again, I'm skipping forward. And then it goes all the way up to whatever your desired tempo is, in this case 100 beats a minute. And it holds it there for 4 measures, and then it slows it back down one click at a time. Again, skipping forward all the way until it gets back down to 40. So this is like another way that you can work on stuff. So like if you put it on 16th notes, you can like sit there and like grind out your paradiddles. You can like paradiddle, paradiddle, and you just slowly get it faster as it slowly speeds up. And then slow it back down again to whatever your starting tempo is, etc. Cool? Anyways. I'm going to tear this down, and I'm going to get ready for Silk Song. So that'll probably be in about 15 or 20 minutes. But again, the home tab is where you can find all of the gaming, all the drumming stuff. Just click on any of the headers to show you all of the different playlists that are inside of each one of these. And stay tuned for many more. Again, there's currently over 600 videos scheduled to release for free. So if you see a Members First one, it's currently just early access if you click the join button for 99 cents. But otherwise, it will come out for free, I promise. Like this one came out on May 22nd or 23rd in 2024. So as a Members First one, it was available. But then it released publicly on August 29th, 2024. But anyways, again, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. But I hope you enjoy these free resources, and I'll be back on in 15 or 20 or so minutes. I just got to, rearrange everything to get ready to fight. What is it? Savage Beastfly Part 2 or something? I forget. I'm rambling. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you all, and goodbye.